Today, on 4th December, Catholics remember and celebrate the life of the great Arab church father Saint John of Damascus. Eastern Orthodox Christians and Eastern Catholics, whose tradition has been particularly shaped by his insights, celebrate the saint's feast on the same day as the Roman Catholic Church. Saint John has the double honor of being the last but one of the fathers of the Eastern Church and the greatest of her poets. The ancestors of John, according to his biographer, when Damascus fell into the hands of the Arabs, had alone remained faithful to Christianity. They commanded the respect of the conqueror and were employed in judicial offices of trust and dignity to administer, no doubt, the Christian law to the Christian subjects of the Sultan. His father, besides this honorable rank, had amassed great wealth. All this he devoted to the redemption of Christian slaves on whom he bestowed their freedom. John was the reward of these pious actions. John was baptized immediately on his birth, probably by Peter II, Bishop of Damascus, afterwards a sufferer for the faith. The father was anxious to keep his son aloof from the savage habits of war and piracy to which the youths of Damascus were addicted, and to devote him to the pursuit of knowledge. He commissioned a monk named Cosmas, who was a Christian captive and whose freedom he bought, to be a tutor to his son. Among Eastern Christians, Saint John is best known for his defense of Christian sacred art, particularly in the form of icons. While the churches of Rome and Constantinople were still united during Saint John's life, the Byzantine Emperor Leo III broke radically from the ancient tradition of the Church, charging that the veneration of Christian icons was a form of idolatry. John had grown up under Muslim rule in Damascus as the child of strongly Christian parents. His excellent education, particularly in theology, prepared him well to defend the tradition of sacred iconography against the heresy of the iconoclasts, so called because they would enter churches and destroy the images therein. During the 720s, the upstart theologian began publicly opposing the emperor's command against sacred images in a series of writings. The heart of his argument was twofold. First, that Christians did not actually worship images, but rather through them they worshipped God and honored the memory of the saints. Second, he asserted that by taking an incarnate physical form, Christ had given warrant to the Church's depiction of him in images. By 730, the young public official's persistent defense of Christian artwork had made him a permanent enemy of the emperor, who had a letter forged in John's name offering to betray the Muslim government of Damascus. The ruling caliph of the city, taken in by the forgery, is said to have cut off John's hand. The saint's sole surviving biography states that the Virgin Mary acted to restore it miraculously. John eventually managed to convince the Muslim ruler of his innocence before making the decision to become a monk and later a priest. Although a number of imperially convened synods condemned John's advocacy of Christian iconography, the Roman Church always regarded his position as a defense of apostolic tradition. Years after the priest and monk died, the Seventh Ecumenical Council vindicated his orthodoxy and ensured the permanent place of holy images in both Eastern and Western Christian piety. Saint John of Damascus's other notable achievements include the exact exposition of the Orthodox faith, a work in which he systemized the earlier Greek fathers, thinking about theological truths in light of philosophy. The work exerted a profound influence on Saint Thomas Aquinas and subsequent scholastic theologians. Centuries later, St. John's sermons on the Virgin Mary's bodily assumption into heaven were cited in Pope Pius XII's dogmatic definition on the subject. The saint also contributed as an author and editor to some of the liturgical hymns and poetry that Eastern Orthodox and Eastern Catholics still use in their celebrations of the liturgy. Having heard about the life of Saint John, let us place all our petitions before him and all together say, Saint John of Damascus, pray for us.